Greetings and welcome back. In this episode, we'll be talking about the present moment and the importance of the presence. This topic is a hot topic that nobody really decides to pay attention to. However, we'll be diving into the esoteric meanings and the importance of being aware and how long can we actually manifest the present moment. When we look up the word presence, we're going to see that it states the fact of a condition of being present, meaning a being within the sight of somebody's space. That means the presence is the space before the essence is being presented before your sight. Now, in other terms, once we're gonna break this down, we need to immediately think about space-time, because once we understand what space is, we understand that it's totality, and what time is only travels through space, and it becomes a polarity, meaning one can be without the other. This is the only way consciousness can exist. Consciousness travels through time in space, so that's the vehicle of the consciousness. So this is the importance of being aware as much possible of the present moment, because this is your divine essence. Now, what happens is, due to programming and social activities and whatnot, we immediately become toxic to our surroundings, and we become disturbed from our essence. This creates a conflict of interest through the attention of awareness. Now what happens is, you're never on the present aware. You're most likely to be thinking of the future or the past, and this is what happens once you're too worried about what's going on versus being aware of the present moment. This is why everybody's missing out on their essence, and nobody's doing it intentionally. It's just the way the structure of society is made out to be, and it's totally fine. Now we're just bringing up awareness and touching up upon these esoteric teachings of the ancestral path. And the word itself, presence, if you can see the noun, how it becomes a compound word. You also have essence, meaning pre, before, and essence. And once we go to the word essence, we're going to see that it's meant to be. The word essence literally means to be the self that thou art. That's your essence, that's your essential being. So your being, that's what presence is, to be in the present moment. Now, this word creates an abstract noun formed to translate of being. That's what the essence means from the word presence. So once we talk about being in the present moment, that's being aware of your essence. Now, it doesn't mean you're gonna get lost in the self at all times, because you're trying to be focused on the I. But if you can be aware of your present moment as your essence is manifesting, then you can definitely be a divine soul at will, manifesting in the present moment through awareness. And this is what everybody understands for enlightenment. Now, when something is enlightened, it just means it's aware of itself. So once you're understanding what the essence means in the presence, then you're going to be in the most important part of existence, which is the vital time, the indispensable and critical and absolutely and much needed time that becomes necessary for the creative will to manifest through consciousness. Now, time as we know it is an illusion. However, it does manifest through space, and this is how we create our existence through this polar essential energy of the essence. Now, what does that mean? Let's break down the presence as it can be broken down into three different manifestations through the execution of awareness. We can definitely take a look at the impression of your presence, the expression of your presence, and the inner impression of your presence. Now, the impression will be how you are being perceived. The expression can be how are you communicating. And the inner impression would be how are you showing up or how are you being manifested in people's eye. Now, once you break this down into these three categories, you can start to practically be aware of the present moment. Now, for many ages, Zen leaders have always focused on the present moment rather than on the future vision, because this gives them the opportunity to refrain from judging the future as to being attracted to the present moment and not being worried through the past. This doesn't mean that they don't plan out their future. However, they're very and extremely careful how to guard against this through the mental state of the future and past. So what you can only do is be aware through the tendency of the present moment. This will be attached to your understanding of essence. This is what we understand for presence. This is why it's so important as we study the consciousness, how our mind evolves and how it's been evolving through time. We're definitely aware at this moment that we're reaching our highest level of consciousness once again through the presence. Now, this can take you to ask yourself certain questions like who am I, what do I believe in, what are my core values, and how do I show to manifest myself. This can definitely be the presence in action. What does this mean? This will give you the meaning of what do I really want as the I, the self, what is important to the I, the self, and what is your life force for. Now that will create meaning. Once you start manifesting at will through the presence, this meaning will definitely make more sense. And this will unveil and as you evolve around your relationships. This will help you connect. This will help you be authentic in your relationships. This will help you experience more love, more happiness. It just depends how you evolve. Everybody's at a different stage. There's no one going faster. There's no one doing it better. Everybody's just being aware of the presence at will through the present moment at this time. So the purpose of this will be to be divine in consciousness through the power of perfection. Now this is what we understand for form, because once you start giving yourself the form of awareness, your consciousness will expand, better known as grow. Now, what does this accomplish? Well, secretly, your soul will acquire this knowledge. In theology, there's many theories and there's many arguing expounding the miracles on how the soul works. However, we need to understand also these terminologies are nothing but speculations and written discussions and written books and teachings that instruct the soul through all ages. However, this is theory. We must bring it to the practical mind in relation to the present moment so that your divine purpose can manifest as is already in existence. It's just like doctors trying to cure a patient in perfect health. See, That paradox is kind of tricky because we are already divine, we are already aware of the present moment, and we are already experiencing the enlightenment as we know it. But we think that there's something else because this is what that thirst gives you, the necessary ambition of expanding your consciousness as you drink more knowledge and you read more books and you write more essays and so on and so on. Now, this is nothing but speculation because the drive is the will of the I at all times, expanding itself through you in the present moment as we understand it for time. Now, this is just consciousness manifesting through its vehicle, whether you allow it or not. Now, that's what is going to be ordained at that moment to whether become better or worse, most holy or most destructible, depending on the self-will and depending on your time of evolution as you are at this moment. Once you start acting out from the center of your heart, you will be occupied in other theories, and as you study more on how to refresh your virtues, you will be aware that you're not dead, that you're not ever going to be dead, because once you live in the present moment, this is understanding that the only time that ever existed is called infinity. Now, this divine will of flowing through your soul at expansion is being educated as you know it. Is being educated through experience, through adversity, through mysterious purposes that we sometimes question ourselves, not understanding certain stuff that happened to us. But this is only folding yourself out to be more sophisticated as you study your spiritual guide and become more aware through the expansion of the now in the mind. This would only create growth, and this would only give it more order as to being divine at will. This is how all souls evolve. Now, once we start to obey these certain actions, we will find the fruit as it ripens. We will find purpose, we will find guidance, we will find the self, how it benefits from the mind and it nourishes the soul. This is what we understand for being blessed as a result of grace. Now, why do we call this grace? Because we're just accepting. There's nothing being done to the self, it's just happening. There's no particular circumstance that's being pointed at the I as is going on through the present moment. We're just here to witness as we grow in exchange for evolution and the present moment of the experience that the soul is being sanctified. This is the ordained will of divine duty at its present moment. As your mysterious purpose evolves and unveils before your eye, the past will abandon the present moment as you grow in contemplation of expanding your heart, expanding your will, expanding your consciousness, and just growing. We must not offer any resistance and blindly understand that perfection is already here. We need to do nothing. However, we think we need to do something because the soul has a purpose and the ego needs to feel is achieving something through the action. Now, how you react to the action, this will be the reaction of the infinitely wise and powerful benevolent soul that you are. This is the trust that you put from the heart into the love that seeks its own expansion through the unshakable faith and confidence that it's divine at all times. Therefore, whatever moment you're going through at this time, we must understand that it is the best moment to be. Therefore, comparing the future with the past through material benefits and other accomplishments and so on can create a stressful situation at a mind that doesn't understand what's being present. Being present meaning that you understand your spirit having a spirit experience through the life essence. Now this gets tricky because it can have a double meaning. However, present is here in attendance. Present is here now. Present is that moment we call time. Now the spiritual practices in the New Age can twist up the understanding for the present. But we need to know that being in the present just means to be aware, especially to understand that there is no future or past. It's just the now manifesting at all times. In traditional spiritual practices, this can create a conflict of intellectual patterns, and so the former person can hold on to any regrets and can constantly review what's going to happen. They can constantly review what's already happening and pass judgment on what to do based on what they think things should be or how certain actions should play out. Now, when you live in the present moment, you understand that we expect no outcome other than the habit of usually being aware. Now, that's being optimistic. However, the negative will always project itself through duality. That's most likely inevitable. But when that happens, you need to understand that you are not living the moment. When you find yourself constantly reacting versus experiencing, then you need to bring yourself back and understand that you're being dragged at the mind's will at that moment, so you can find yourself once again in the shore of the present moment. As we mentioned, the duality of the presence and the present moment and how it can be a little tricky, we can use the analogy of how we see fire. However, we never touch the center flame. You see the body, however, you never feel the essence. You could only manifest it through awareness within to the outer realm without. However, in the inner core of your body, you're manifesting through the will of the essence that you are, that divine consciousness at will. Therefore, as you align yourself and expand your consciousness, the soul guides the body, and the body manifests through spirit. And when this trinity becomes in alignment, this is what we understand for enlightenment. This will bring you through the present moment with awareness that the past, the present, and the future is nothing but concepts of the mind. This is the importance of not passing judgment and being in the nowness of the present moment. This will give you the opportunity to bring heaven to earth, as above so below. Therefore, your mind will be in tune with the body, and you can manifest from your center, where your essence is at all times. Keep in mind, there is no framework for teaching present moment. There is no direct way of understanding this terminology and its essence. Teaching presence is the facilitation of your direction of cognitive thinking and social processes. This is your present being manifested through the presence. As mentioned at the beginning, now all we can do is create purpose through realizing the personality that we are acting out and its meaningful manifestation through the educational expansion of consciousness. This will make your worthwhile a greater outcome. Now, there is no framework. There is no measuring presence. There's only a reliable state of mind through construction and measurement of yourself, inquiring theories as this video and everything you're already doing. Now this collected information will only expand your consciousness as you explore all the factors through confirmations and analysis with your own results. This is just expanding your database through factors of awareness. Now, if this is something that you feel in resonance, you're definitely expanding at the present moment. And the only thing you can do is practice one day at a time through present moment awareness.